Okay, so finally we're ready to call the function that we created in step one. I'm still here in my loop. And now that we have the student's midterm and final grade, for whichever student we're on, okay, however many there are, the student at hand in this iteration of the current iteration of the loop, we're going to call the function for that student and determine whether that's an A, B, C, D, or F grade. And also we're going to tally those numbers of A's and B's and C's and so on in this loop as well. So a lot going on here. Not a lot of code, but a lot going on. So I want to make an important point. Here, let me go back to the instructions here. I highlighted an important sentence. Let me just read this. We're going to call the letter grade function, passing the midterm and final values as arguments, okay? I think I'm going to type the code for that right now before we move on to that highlighted sentence. If I call the get letter grade function, passing the midterm and the final values as arguments, okay? Just a distinction here. We have parameterized this function to accept two floats, a midterm and a final grade, right? So when I'm calling the function, I've got to pass the two floats. We call them midterm and final here in main. These are the variables that we're passing. So these are arguments which are going to be passed into the function's parameters. Okay, just some terminology there that I want you to know. Okay, now here's the thing. I've called the function, I've passed the arguments. The function is going to run as is, but this is important here. Capture the return value from the function in the L grade variable here in main. Here's the thing. When you have a function that returns a value, such as this one, it returns a character, you've got to do something with that value. You've got to capture it in some way, or maybe, to put it into a cout, put it into the output stream, do something with it, which I am not doing at the moment. If you call the function just like this, it will run. We're going to get an A, B, C, or whatever back. And where's it going to go? Into a black hole. Never to be seen again, never to be used. What was the point? Okay? So because we're getting a character back, I'm going to capture it somewhere. And the exam instructions tell us to capture it specifically in this variable, which is created up at the top of main. So we're going to say L grade equals whatever we get back from this function, which is going to be an A, B, C, D, or F. Okay, so that's how we're going to call the function, and now we're pretty much home free. I just want to go back to use an if-else to assess the value of L grade. We've got what we need, it's in that L grade variable, and increment the appropriate tally variable. Okay, so really all we need to do, I already have this coded. This is not the kind of thing that you need to see me type out in real time. Still in my loop, by the way. This is one big for loop here, okay? So if the value in L grade is an A, look at that double equal sign. Look at the single quotes around the character constants here. We're going to increment the num A's tally. So remember these tally variables, num A's, num B's, num C's. We'll just increment the appropriate variable. Depending on what we get back from that function, that's going to be an L grade there. Okay? So this is the end of the for loop. Okay, and then finally I would write, maybe I'll just do like one big cout statement. It's up to you how you want to handle this, but looking back at the sample output in the instructions, something like this with like a little banner and then the number of A's, number of B's, and so on. So I will, I already have a cout statement coded, and you can use this, a model like this for your actual exam. So that would accomplish that. And that's it, really. I mean, it's not a ton of code, but there is a lot going on. And again, you just have to take it in small parts and really, really invest some time in that function, because if you take a wrong turn in your function at the outset of the exam, then nothing is going to fall into place. So really focus your attention there. from the get-go, and then, move forward only after you're confident that you have a good function in place. Okay.